Okay, it's Dr. H.Schuessler again, and this is a video over the syllabus and over this course schedule. So hopefully it'll help to set some of the expectations for the class and outline when things are due and things like that. So again, this is our Blackboard. When you log into Blackboard, this is what you'll see, something similar to this. Under this semester, you're going to have some different courses, but you should have this one right here, Tech of E-Business 5379. So let's go ahead and go on in and take a look here. So this is pretty much what it should look like right now, and it'll look a little bit different once the videos are posted, but let's go ahead and get these fired up. Again, the syllabus and the schedule are separate Google Docs, so when you open them, they open up in a separate tab or a separate window, and you can start to look at them there. So again, it's Tech of E-Business. If I tweet something out that's particularly relevant to this class, I'll use the hashtag BCIS 5379. I would encourage you to do the same if you find something that you think is relevant. Spring 2017 semester. This is an online class, and as such, there's no online time or specific place to meet or anything like that. My name, my title, position, where I'm located. You can tell my office hours are really pretty generous, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Unfortunately, as a department head, I tend to get pretty busy, so I'll get called into meetings. I'll be off at conferences, things like that. So plan on setting up an appointment with me ahead of time in Blackboard, and that way I can make sure that I'm here. We can make sure we can find a time where we can both be here. If you'd like to meet virtually, we can do that via a Zoom session. Same kind of thing. Let's set up a day and a time to do that, and I'll make sure we get in there, and I'll send you the link to the Zoom session via Blackboard, and that way we can verbally communicate and see each other while we do it. I'm not a real big phone person, so it's probably the worst way to get a hold of me. As far as the textbook, you can see the cover of it right there. It's E-Commerce 2016 Business Technology Society 12th edition by Laudon and Trevor. A couple of different options there. There's a hard copy and there's an ebook. You can save some money with that ebook version. Course is going to require a webcam and the use of Google Drive. So if you've got a Google account, that's great. You've already got access to that. If not, you'll need to create one. You don't necessarily have to keep it beyond this class, but you do need it for this class. Let's see what else we have. The final exam is proctored through Examity, and we'll talk about the exams a little bit more. There's more detail about Examity later, but Examity is an online proctoring solution, so that's required for this course as well. There are program objectives for the MSIS program, and so you can see those there. These are some of the things that when you graduate with your master's degree that we expect you to be able to do. And then down below that we have our course description, and we have the individual course objectives that we expect you to be able to do when you leave this course. So some of the different e-commerce business models, key elements, strategies, things like that. Now, I usually try to provide some information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics regarding the field. Unfortunately, there's not something that's directly related to this class. The closest is web developers, and really e-business is much larger in scope than that, but this is really kind of the closest thing that I could find. And you can take a look, and I give you some of the information that they have on their website: average pay, growth of the field over the next 10 years from 2014 to 2024. And so you can kind of look through that and kind of gives you an idea of some of the types of jobs that you might be qualified for after taking the class. Related to that is career services. We have Miss Catherine Copeland, who has recently joined our team, and if you're looking to update your resume, you need to practice interview skills, things like that, reach out to her. She does all of those kinds of things and a lot more. She also helps to set up job fairs and things like that. As part of a partnership that we have with Microsoft Imagine allows you to download software for free and use a lot of different Microsoft titles. Not everything is available. Microsoft Office, for example, is not available, but a lot of stuff is, and so I really recommend that you implement some sort of a virtual environment and download some of these servers and other softwares and play with them, because there's no better way to get familiar with it than to actually play with it and get your hands dirty, so to speak. This next section is what students tend to be the most interested in. We talked about in the previous video over the Blackboard shell, but we'll talk about it here as it relates to the syllabus. Your grade, where your grade's going to come from. So it's going to come from assessments, it's going to come from homework, it's going to come from discussion board posts, an individual semester project, and then exams. So the assessments are all discussed right here. I'm going to drop your 2 lowest quiz scores. So if you do poorly on one, you forget to take one crashes on you, don't worry about it. I drop your 2 lowest quiz scores, and that's part of the reason that I drop them is to, that way I don't have to reset them or anything like that. So keep that in mind. If you miss one, if one crashes, whatever, I don't reset them. That's why I drop the lowest quiz scores. Typically, students absolutely hate taking these quizzes. They don't like them. They're timed. They really kind of push you. And that's what they're designed to do. They're designed for you to read the chapters ahead of time. They're designed for you to have gone through the PowerPoints and ask questions ahead of time. You're not going to have time to look up the answers. It's not an exercise in looking up answers. So be sure and have a pretty good understanding. Now, students do tend to hate these quizzes. I will tell you, because I dropped the lowest quizzes, usually the quiz average by the end of the semester tends to be better than what most students anticipate. And so I've really had good luck with this approach in the past, and so I continue to use this approach. Homework assignments are already posted inside Blackboard. There's a total of 4 assignments, including assignment 0. That one's a little bit different than the other 3. The other 3 assignments are group assignments, and all the groups are going to address a specific technology via an online presentation. And so you're going to evaluate web servers, you're going to evaluate scripting languages, and you're going to evaluate databases. And you're going to prepare a presentation, and then you're going to present that to me via Zoom, and I'll record that and then post it to the discussion boards. And so each group will be able to see the other groups and the work that they've done, and provide feedback that way. So you're going to discuss those via the discussion board, and the discussion boards are going to require, in addition to that, the video post, it's going to require 3 posts on the part of every person in class, at least 3. The very first post is going to occur on or before Wednesday of the week in which the discussion board is due, and it's going to be something where you're going to ask some of the other teams what did they think about this technology or that technology, or why did they say this, why did they say that, things like that. The second post during the week is on or after Thursday, but before Sunday in which the discussion board is due. You need to post something that that either answers a question about your group's presentation or asks another question about another group's work. The final post is going to be a reflective post. Tell us what you learned about this week's project, this week's topic. It's designed to be a reflective answer to make you think about what is it that you actually took away from this discussion. We've also got an individual semester project. We talked about this in the previous video as well. This is really geared towards preparing you for your semester project in 5365, which is Dr. Schultz's class over web development. And hopefully it'll help you hit the ground running in that class. That's the goal behind it. And so you're in this class, you're really focused on the business side of things, thinking through the product, the service, whatever it happens to be, and how you're going to market, what your revenue plan is going to be, things like that. We've got exams. We've got 2 exams, a midterm and a final. Both of them are within Blackboard. However, the final exam is actually administered through Examity. And Examity is an online proctoring service, and they so that basically the exam will be proctored, and there'll be more instructions on that as the semester unwinds. But basically you're going to have to schedule your final exam through Examity during the final exam window, which is a few days, and we'll get down to that schedule here in a minute. When we get over to the schedule, we'll talk about that. To check and make sure that your system's ready, you can click on that link right there. It'll run through a series of tests. It'll check your microphone, it'll check your webcam, it'll check your internet speed, etc. Next is a breakdown of all the points for all the various quizzes, homework, etc. So you can take a look at that. Your semester project, midterm, final exam, and then the total value. Late assignments, I don't take late assignments, so everything's already posted, it's already out there, so be aware of that. Don't plan on doing something at the last minute. If you have a problem and you miss the deadline, you miss the deadline. Student expectations, this is a graduate level class. It's probably not your first semester, or else you probably wouldn't be in this class. But everybody at this point should know what it takes to be successful in this class. So be sure and read through that. Check Blackboard regularly. Turn things in on time. It's not rocket surgery. So you all ought to be able to do well in this class and those by following those. Academic dishonesty, don't cheat. This basically goes through the whole explanation of what is cheating and what happens if you do. Just don't do it. That way we can avoid having to use any of that. Disability accommodations, I'm not qualified to provide you with an accommodation. I'm the wrong kind of doctor. If you have need for such an accommodation, contact the Center for Access and Academic Testing, and they will do their little assessment, and they will make the determination of what accommodations are suitable. They'll present you with a letter stating those accommodations, and then you're to present that to me and other faculty from whom you're taking classes. I'll tell you, the vast majority of us are going to do whatever that letter states. Rarely, on occasion, but rarely do we ever refuse to do what that accommodation letter states. This is their job, and we kind of leave it to them. In this class, we do have some writing assignments. If you're not a native speaker, I would encourage you to get your writing assignments done early and submit things to the Writing Center. They can help you improve what you're submitting. It's not required in this class, but especially if you have trouble writing, this is a valuable resource that you can potentially use to help improve your submissions. Lastly, we're required to, we're required to include this in our syllabus, the service day requirement. You should get more information about this later in the semester on your go.tarleton account. But essentially, there's a day later this semester in which all classes will be canceled, and you're expected to participate in a service day requirement. There are some exceptions to that, obviously, but keep that in mind. And then we have the learning style and student evaluations, which I presented to you in the previous video under Blackboard. The data is exactly the same. Nothing has changed. It comes from the exact same place, so it's identical in terms of what you're looking at. So that is the syllabus. The schedule is right here, and it's basically laid out in 4 columns. We have the week, the dates, the topic, and then assignments. So for week 1, which is Monday, January 17th, or actually I guess that's technically Tuesday. Is it Monday or Tuesday? It's technically, I guess the semester starts on a Tuesday, so it starts out on the 17th. Everything else is pretty much on a Monday. 17th through Sunday, the 22nd. And that very first week, we're just basically going to do introductions and talk about the syllabus. So this is the week that you'll hopefully watch these videos if you haven't already. Having said that, we do have some deliverables. There are some things that are due. The assessment pretest, the homework 0, and assessment 0 over the syllabus. When are they due? They're due at 9:30 on Sunday of this respective week. So they're due at 9:30 p.m. on 1/22, Sunday. Why 9:30? The Blackboard help desk closes at 10. If something were to happen, this would allow you to contact the Blackboard help desk and hopefully get some help before the evening is over and take corrective action. So that's the idea behind having it due at 9:30. I know it seems like an odd time until you start to think about that. And then you can see that the following week we cover Chapter 1. The quiz over Chapter 1 is due that week, etc., and so on. You can see here the discussion board is due, so by this Wednesday, so it's the 13th, 14th, 15th, February the 15th, you need to make your first discussion board post. The 16th to the 19th, you need to make your second one, and then the 18th and 19th, or 19th, you need to make your 4th post. So that's kind of how that works. So this Sunday the 12th will actually is when your video is due. So that's when your presentation will occur. I turn around and post them later that night or first thing Monday morning, and then you have the rest of the week for your discussion board posts. Spring break is week 9, 3/13 through 3/19. Your semester project is due on 4/23. We have a little bit of a break there, and then we have our post-test, and then finally our cumulative final exam. Again, the cumulative final exam is administered through Examity. It's in Blackboard, but you have to schedule your exam through Examity for some time during this window, sometime between Thursday, May 4th at 6:30 p.m. and Sunday, May 7th at 9:30 p.m. So it'll have to be scheduled sometime during that period. So that is it as far as the schedule. That's all I've got for you in this video. If you do have any questions, you just come back right here and go back to the home page. If you do have any questions, send me a message within Blackboard. I'm looking forward to a great semester, and take care.